Next is, have you made friends with similar struggles and are the connections genuine? Not really. Um, I'll say though, there's been a few conversations, but not, I wouldn't really say friendships. So the first is shortly after I was diagnosed, I saw on Twitter a video of this girl ringing the bell. She seemed kind of young, so I actually reached out to her on Instagram and I found out that she was 24. She just like finished with her chemo, and so we started having like a little back and forth. Like I was just asking her like, what can I expect and stuff like that. So we talked, and then now like as I'm deciding what surgery I'll have, like I reached out to her again. So I've had a few conversations, but like what I say is a friendship or something like that, not really. It's just like a resource that's more in my age group, because my aunt is actually a survivor, and like I tried having some of the conversations with her, but we have different types, we're at different stages, our treatment plan has been different. And so I think as much as I wanted to relate to her and talk to her, I feel sort of a resistance on her end sometimes, so I kind of don't. And I think I just wanted someone more in my age group, because like when I initially went to my aunt and told her like what they wanted to do, especially in regards to surgery, like they told me it was up to me to have a lumpectomy or a full mastectomy, and she basically was like, cut it off and be done with it. And it was kind of hard for me to take that advice, because I feel like she and I are in different stages of our life at time of diagnosis, at least. Like, I was 28, she was in her 40s. I'm single and childless. She already had a husband and kids at that point. So I feel like the things that we are worried about are different. And so, in that way, like, yes, I'm grateful to have someone I could talk to, but is the advice really for me? I don't know. So that was one person, and then I ended up also DMing on Twitter someone else that was from the Bahamas that had it like in their early 20s as well. And we kind of talked back and forth about like treatment at PMH, surgery options, etc. Also, like I said, I wouldn't say a friendship, but it's been like a resource, someone to talk to when I'm trying to figure out which way I want to go. The next question is, what kind of advice would you give to women who don't go to the doctor regularly? I am that woman. I don't really go to the doctor regularly. I would say I went if I felt something was wrong or for like lady things, but to say that I go to the doctor regularly, I don't do it. My advice would honestly be know your body. Because like I said, like I felt these things myself. Like no one really felt them and told me what to do. So like know your body. Like you know yourself. You've been in your body for however long you've been in it. You know it best. If you feel like something is off, like don't wait. That would really be my advice. Don't wait. Like even though it might seem like, oh, I don't really want to pay, I don't want to deal with that, like just don't wait. Don't wait and go. Like it could be something, or just as well as it could be nothing, but it would be better for you to go and find out what it is. Just don't wait if you feel anything is off with your body, because you know it best. What are some life lessons you are learning throughout this process? The truth? Well, people can't handle the truth, but I think the main thing is to prioritize yourself, your health, and your life above all else. Like I feel like people in our age group, and even people outside our age group, because like one of the things my dad asked, like when I started figuring out what I was gonna do, was like, was I gonna fly back and forth for work? And to me it was like, work's not really the thing I'm thinking about right now, personally. So that is like the real life lesson. Like prioritize yourself, your life and your health above all else. Like, you can't pour from an empty cup. Like, I can't go to work if my tip was to fall off, you know, that kind of way. Just prioritize yourself, your life, and your health above literally all else. Like, you are what's most important to you, so deal with that. All right, read to the next page. So the next one is, how have your priorities changed? So that goes to the same question. Like, I have always had a supreme love for myself above all else. So, like, I wouldn't say that I didn't prioritize myself, but I would say, like, I think at this age, like, I was pretty much chasing the career path in a way, like, you know, always trying to figure out what I could do to get more money, get the next step up, or even just like being home thinking about work. Because I feel like a lot of people are guilty of that. And like, it's not to say shut your brain down to work, but I think like my priority is me. Like, and it's not me and how I can advance in life. Like, it's just me. Period. Like I said, I've learned that if people ain't into what I'm into, like, I ain't into that, and that's the truth. Like, I am my priority forever from now on, and that's it. So now the next set of questions, they're gonna get a bit deeper because they came from my best friend, who, like I said, has the most knowledge about what I'm going through. So she asked questions from that perspective, like to get a deeper understanding of certain things, and also to give people who don't know as much as she knows kind of an understanding. So these ones are going to get more specific. So her first one, well, is, what is your opinion on the quality of healthcare in the Bahamas since you chose not to do your treatment there? That is a loaded question. I don't know if I could give an accurate opinion on the quality of healthcare there because I am not doing it there. What I will say is the reason that I'm not doing it there is because I had some not great experiences when trying to access healthcare for this particular issue. For example, like I had said, the doctor who started like yelling at me saying, oh, why didn't you come sooner? In addition to yelling about me asking why didn't I come sooner, she literally grabbed my breast in her hand and shook it while saying this. So like, it didn't really leave a good taste in my mouth. And to me, she scared me more than reassured me. And I feel like a doctor, especially if you're dealing with something so sensitive, should be more calming and reassuring and not an alarmist, which to me she was. Like, and the thing is, I don't know if she has history of it in her family, herself, her friends, whatever, that may have led her to react that way. But even though you're a doctor, like, I'm not comfortable with you literally shaking my breast to tell me that I should have come sooner because the lump is so big. I wasn't feeling that. And like, obviously, me and my parents are really close. Like, I told them about it and they wasn't feeling that either. In addition to that, like, the people who gave the ultrasounds, like, when I started crying because they were like, oh, they don't know, they started saying stuff like, oh, you're only 28, like, your breasts are so pretty, what you crying for? And it's like, that ain't what I'm trying to hear right now. It's really not. And then the surgeon, my parents didn't like that instead of saying let's biopsy it first or let's, run some tests to see what this lump is, he immediately wanted to go into surgery. On top of that, like, he kept saying throughout our appointment, don't worry, you're only 28, you have nothing to worry about, when in fact I did have breast cancer. So it's like, those three things added up to make my parents not really want to seek healthcare at home. And I agreed because I didn't really care for my treatment as well. If you want to reach out to me personally to find out exactly who those doctors are, I can tell you. Like, I don't really want to tarnish their names publicly because, I don't know what they were going through, or they probably said what they felt was it. But yeah, those experiences weren't the greatest. So once I kind of had a good, calming, reassuring doctor here, it just made sense to continue my treatment here. So that's pretty much what we did. Um, she said the next question is, if you didn't have the opportunity to seek health care elsewhere, how do you think it would affect your decision making when it comes to your treatment plan? I don't know, especially because it's not like I'm really making the decisions when it comes to my treatment plan. The doctors make the decision. I decide if I agree, if I don't agree, and we go forth. So, yeah, I'm a listen to the doctor kind of patient. They told me what treatment plan they thought would work best, and I was like, all right, let's do it. Um, Next question is, what's happening to the people around you? Are they running away from you because they can't deal with it, or are they riding harder? And how are you managing them and their emotions surrounding what's happening? Um, I think it's kind of like a mix. You know, I have always been the type of person to say, don't worry about the people who don't ride for you, worry about the people who do. And this situation has really showed me that, like, a lot more people ride for you than you think ride for you. And the people really have been riding for me, I feel. Like, I do. Like, I've had friends send me money. I've had friends send me stuff. Like, I've had friends just send me, like, encouraging words when they feel I need it. I have a friend that, like, off the bat asks me, like, what's your spiritual life like going through this, and like decided he would send me Bible verses whenever he remembers. It was supposed to be every morning, but it really is whenever he remembers. Like, people have come out and supported me, and you can't ask for more than that. Like, even people that I wasn't really that close to are like, hey, I'll send you food, like, what do you need? Like, I have not really been that accepting of it, but people have been offering. um how am I managing people and their emotions surrounding what's happening? Honestly, if I feel like they're getting into emotional talk, like, I shut that down. Like, I don't want to talk about it because I feel like, in a way, I feel like, why are people reacting to it more strongly than I am? Especially because, like, you hear about, not from the people, but from people around the people, that like people are crying when they find out my diagnosis, or like crying on my first day of chemo. And it's like, I didn't even cry on my first day of chemo. I was scared as hell, like I was nervous as shit, but I didn't cry. So it's like, why are you crying? So I kind of like shut down on or tune out any conversations or anything to do with other people's emotions around it, because I feel uncomfortable that people are reacting more strongly to it than I am. I do feel uncomfortable with that. Like, that's the truth. So I'm not really managing people and their emotions around it well. I think it's something that I'm gonna come back to when everything is over. Um, Next one is, now that you know more about like your specific breast cancer, how is that affecting you, since initially you didn't want to know much about it? Um, so I'll tell you a little story. I did not want to know what stage I was until the end. I never said it out loud to my doctor, but I think she knew because she never told me. She told me other things, but we never talked about what stage, and I didn't want to know what stage, because I felt like if I knew, I would be more afraid to tackle it, and I just wanted to get through. So I did not want to know my stage. However, after my first chemo, I ended up in the hospital, and one of the cardiologists blurted my stage out while going through my chart with the like interns and residents and whatever else. And I bursted out crying because I was like, I didn't want to know my stage, and I really feel a way about you ruining it like that. And like, for the rest of my hospital stay, he was like, I'm so sorry, like I didn't know. It affected me briefly in the moment when he first like blurted it out, and I think about it from time to time because it's like, damn. But it doesn't really affect me that much. I still don't know that much. I still choose not to look up that much about my specific type, stage, anything like that. So yeah, it doesn't really affect my day to day. I think it just affected me in the moment that he ruined something that I had wanted for myself. The next question is, why did you choose to not know a lot? Why was that your strategy? In retrospect, is it a good way of handling it? And a lot of the answers to that was previous, but I didn't want to know, so I could just fight it. I do still think it was a good way of handling it. I still don't know that much, so I think it was a good thing.
Thank you for tuning into the third part of my Q&A. There's one part left to go, so stay tuned.